everyone, and happy Earth Week. I'm Jennifer Morris, the CEO of the Nature Conservancy, and I'm delighted to be part of today's program. Thank you so much to the Environmental Professionals Network and the Sustainability Institute at Ohio State for inviting me to join you. I also want to acknowledge President Christina Johnson, Dean Kathan Kress, and Jeff Sharp, and of course, all of the students here with us today. And I want to congratulate everyone who shared research posters on climate solutions today. I've been so encouraged to see so many Earth Day events this year, like yours, focused on the climate crisis. Because no matter where you live, what your major is, or what field you go into, the climate emergency affects all of us. The climate crisis isn't just an environmental issue. It's an everything issue. And we have years, not decades, to address it. I know the odds seem greater than ever. Yet Earth Day is a powerful reminder that by working together, we can overcome the barriers to progress. 52 years ago, people across the country came together on the first Earth Day to speak up for the planet. And leaders listened. Those first Earth Day teach-ins and marches contributed to the bipartisan passage of the Clean Air Act in 1970, the Clean Water Act in 1972, and the formation of the Environmental Protection Agency. Now more than ever, we need to harness that same kind of collective energy to address the climate emergency. And to do this, we need to focus on 3 keys to progress that I'll briefly discuss today: policy, innovation, and inclusion. First, let's talk about policy, one of our most powerful levers for change. This past year, we've seen some good progress. At last year's United Nations Climate Conference in Glasgow, Scotland, we were encouraged by the collective energy focused on the role of natural climate solutions, which can deliver more than 1/3 of the emissions reductions needed by 2030. In one of the conference's biggest announcements, for example, 141 countries that are collectively home to 85% of the world's forests committed to halting and reversing deforestation by 2030. And here in the United States, the historic bipartisan infrastructure package included around $200 billion in investments for clean energy, conservation, and nature-based solutions. These kinds of global and national policies are critical. At the same time, progress requires action at all levels. So I also want to briefly reflect on the opportunities to make a difference closer to home. In recent years, we've seen a wave of states, cities, and companies leading the way. Right here in Ohio, the city of Columbus adopted one of the largest energy aggregation programs in the country, which will provide electricity from renewable and clean energy sources to city residents. I also want to applaud Ohio State for your ambitious commitment to become carbon neutral by 2050. And companies continue to step up too. In Ohio, Intel is a great example with its pledge to fully power its semiconductor manufacturing with renewable energy in the next 5 years. Of course, policies and pledges like these are only the first step. To turn ambition into action, we need innovation. And that's where science-based organizations like Ohio State and the Nature Conservancy come in. For example, Ohio State researchers like Rattan Lal have long understood the potential to sequester carbon in healthy soils, which can also increase agricultural yields, generate more profits for farmers, and reduce environmental harm. The Nature Conservancy is now building on this research through our collaborations with farmers and agribusiness companies to scale up smart agriculture. Across North America, including Ohio, the Nature Conservancy is serving as a scientific and technical resource for agricultural partners looking to use regenerative soil health practices to diversify revenue streams through emerging carbon markets. We are also creating tools to support the transition to renewable energy. For example, we just launched Site Renewables Right, the first free science-based mapping tool that helps companies and communities identify the most promising places to develop wind and solar energy while minimizing impacts to wildlife habitat. I could go on with other examples of science-based innovation, but the truth is, we need more. more data to understand where we should be focusing our efforts and resources, more resources to guide decision makers, and better tools to measure the impact of decisions on planetary health. And that's why I'm so inspired by students and faculty like all of you who are developing the next breakthrough tools and ideas to overcome the barriers to progress. Finally, I want to stress the importance of inclusion, because we simply cannot achieve our mission without elevating the voices of those on the front lines of the biodiversity and climate crises. This requires listening, learning, and walking side by side with people from the communities where we work to listen, learn, and amplify their conservation leadership. For example, we are partnering with local and indigenous communities from Australia to the Amazon to secure tenure and control over their own lands and support sustainable economic development. And here in the US, we're working with former coal mining communities to help diversify the region's economy. Through our Cumberland Forest Project in Appalachia, for example, we are managing over 250,000 acres, not as a strict nature preserve, but as working forest land that supports jobs, recreation, and climate mitigation by maintaining and restoring healthy, carbon-rich habitats. The examples I've just shared and the work that all of you are doing in your own communities and organizations fills me with confidence that together we will find a way to build a brighter future for people and our planet. And together is the key word here, because collaboration is vital to addressing a challenge as complex and as multifaceted as the climate emergency. So I want to thank Ohio State for building that spirit of collaboration and for inviting me here today. I only wish I could be in person with you. Ohio is close to my heart. I have family near Columbus, so I hope to be able to visit your beautiful campus on a future trip to the Buckeye State. Thanks again to all of you for your leadership, and happy Earth Day.